Alright everyone, I'm back and I'm going to be telling the Spork Yard prank story. Now, this was long before the glitter story. Well, not really long, but it was a while before we did the glitter prank. And we did not come up with this idea. It actually got told to us by a guy at the gas station who we befriended just because we were down there so often. I want to say it was a Circle K. I'm not sure. All I know is they had a skunk mascot. But either way, we had kind of prevented this guy because we were down there so often because the gas station wasn't far from the school or our houses. And, one day we were in there actually buying something. And we were preventing this guy that, we hated this teacher. He was horrible. He made horrible comments. He was super mean to us. And we were doing little pranks to him, but it just really wasn't enough. And we wanted to do something more and really get back at him. And so, of course, this college dude is like, oh, I know what you should do. I've done this before a ton of times in college. What you gotta do is go get some instant mashed potatoes, cut in a box, and you're gonna go and sprinkle that in his yard, and then you're gonna get confetti, and you're gonna sprinkle that on top, and you're gonna take sporks, the kind they give at the Chinese place on the street, and you're gonna stick those in his yard. What's gonna happen is he's gonna come out there, and he's gonna see the sporks, and because you gotta pull him out at an angle, he's gotta get down to pull them out one by one, and then he's gonna see the confetti. What's going to happen, he's going to go then and get his hose, and he can start to hose his yard down to get the confetti out. And then it's going to activate the mashed potatoes, and it's a huge mess. It's the best thing ever. And I remember we looked at each other and like, yeah, let's do that. And of course, it's not like we were hard pressed for the money to do it, because back then, fast food actually gave you a pretty good salary, because I made like $16 an hour back then. So it didn't take us long or much work to have a good chunk of money put together. So what we ended up doing was then, going around to different stores and getting the mashed potatoes. We go to like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, the 99-cent store. And we were buying those boxes of instant mashed potatoes. And then, of course, we hit up the craft stores and the party stores to get our confetti. And, finally went to the Chinese place, and I can only imagine what these people were thinking when a bunch of teenagers come in there, put a $50 bill on the counter and say, we want all of this in sporks. Because, you give them a nickel, and they would give you a spork, is some kind of utensil they gave out. So we end up getting this giant box of sporks, which, kind of worked, because this guy had a pretty big yard. But anywho, we had to wait for the right night to do it, and finally, that night came. Now, mind you, we had spent about 2 months at most getting all our supplies together, going on multiple trips over multiple days. So we had a huge supply. And, finally, the night comes, and we start doing it. I remember we had piled all the boxes in my buddy's little sister's bright pink Barbie wagon and carted it across the street to start getting to work. Now, like I said, we'd spent 2 months doing this. So we had about 20 to 30 of the great big boxes and about 20 of the little boxes. And we took every single one of them, tore them open, and sprinkled them in his yard. Now, mind you, there was one thing the dude at the gas station had forgotten to tell us. You're only supposed to use one of the great big boxes for a 20 square foot yard. And we'd gone completely overboard with it, and we didn't figure it out until we had started taking pictures with our phones, because we'd just gotten camera phones. And our flashes revealed how badly we messed up, because his whole yard looked like it had snowed. And we start freaking out because, it wasn't going to work like that. Fortunately, this dude didn't mow his yard very often. So it was about 3 inches tall. So we just kind of drop our phones and we start, running our hands through the yard to work the mashed potato flakes down. And we were kind of hindered too because of this guy's son's dog. I should stop and explain this, but we'd already been pulling some pranks. So what this guy had done is he went and got his son's great big Rottweiler and was keeping it there, hoping to keep our asses away, which didn't work. The dog was super nice. But what's happening is, he never locked his gate, as I said in the last story. And of course, it's a Rottweiler. They're very smart. So it had learned how to just open the gate and was out there with us, watch what we're doing. And plus, at his son's house, the dog would get table scraps and pretty much, just any kind of people food. So, of course, us putting on those flakes, it thought it was getting food. So it was eating them, which wasn't helping. Plus, we were getting ready to put the confetti down. And, like I said, dog's super nice. We didn't want to get sick. So what my buddy ended up doing was he ran back to his house and got their great big box of potato flakes that they kept in the cabinet. And he mixed that up with water, made some mashed potatoes, and put that in the dude's backyard, and that kept the dog in there and kept the dog from trying the gate for a while. So we keep going. And we started putting down the confetti. And I should add, this dude, he always thought he was some great big macho man, and he hated anything girly. So any kind of girly confetti we had found over the 2 months, we bought. There was little hearts and stars, butterflies, mermaids, some unicorns. Of course, it was all pink. And we had sprinkled that throughout his yard. And then finally, we started putting the sporks in. And that took us, put the sporks in. It took us about 2 to 3 hours. But it was worth it. And it looked so good. Of course, we took a whole bunch of pictures, which I wish we still had. But anywho, it was about then we noticed that the sun was just starting to rise. So we thought, he's going to be up soon. So we took it, we booked it back to my buddy's place, and we started watching from his window. And it was about 2, maybe 3 hours at most. Probably a bit longer. I don't know. We were just so jazzed and filming. And finally, we start to see lights come on this dude's house, and we know he's up. So, of course, we're getting excited. He comes out to get the morning paper. And then he notices these white things sticking out of his grass. How he didn't see the bright pink confetti right away, we still don't know. But it worked out. So, he goes over there and he's screaming, "Oh, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck?" And he gets down there to pull down, the first Spork. And we see just the pure, sheer anger and hatred in his eyes when he sees the glitter. The confetti. And of course, he gets all real pissed off, and he's screaming, he's shouting, he's cursing about stupid kids and how he's going to get our asses. And he goes and gets his hose, and according to plan, starts hosing down his yard. And I mean, it was like those popcorn commercials where you see the popcorn puff up because the mashed potatoes just started puffing up and puffing up. And so he starts screaming, he's freaking out more, and he throws the hose down. You didn't turn it off, so it's still activating mashed potatoes. And much to our shock, he goes and gets a snow shovel. We still don't know why he had a snow shovel. It was in California, where it never snows. But he went and got the snow shovel, and he just took it and started running it through his yard. So he was breaking off Spork handles. He just mixed up the glitter and potatoes. And he just starts rushing it into the street. And he spent a good 30 minutes doing this all while he's screaming, he's yelling, he's getting pissed off. And then he takes the hose and the snow shovel, and he puts his thumb over the hose. You know how you put it over the hose and it goes shh. He was doing that in tandem with the snow shovel, and he was forcing it down into the storm drain. And we're like, what is he doing? Because we weren't planning on this happening, but we're still laughing our asses off at all this just because it looks so stupid and ridiculous. And by some miracle, he gets it all down in the storm drain. And I gotta do a part 2. I'm running out of time.